And good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Kentucky has passed 2,000 cases of the coronavirus. The governor just announced 87 new cases of COVID-19. He reported 7 more deaths. At least 104 Kentuckians have now died, while it is estimated around 630 have now recovered. We'll talk much more about the pandemic later in the newscast, but first, the story impacting thousands of people across the region tonight. The cleanup is underway across the mountains. Hurricane-like winds took down trees and power lines, leaving widespread damage behind. 2 of the hardest hit areas, Perry and Pike counties. We'll check in with WYMT's Will Puckett shortly at Fish Trap Lake. But first, WYMT's Connor James is in hard-hit Perry County, where those winds knocked homes from their foundations. He's live for us from Lothair tonight. Connor?
Yeah, Steve, there's debris everywhere from branches to shingles. You can't really look anywhere around Lothair and see something that's not out of place, like this building I'm next to, which has been moved a couple feet off to the side. Those high winds doing a lot of that damage across our region. In Lothair, trees lay on roads, cars, and homes.
Never in my 74 years have I ever seen anything like it or felt anything like it.
Deanna Mobilini has lived at this home for more than 20 years. Late last night, a tree crashed through her house and winds removed parts of her roof.
It was the loudest noise I've ever heard in my life.
With a partial roof, the downpour overnight flooded parts of her home.
Inside my house, there's massive damage. Where the roof is gone, all the water came in last night. We worked until 3 o'clock this morning.
Her house, though, overall stayed put. That's not the case a couple roads down.
All of a sudden, it was picked up and moved over about 2 feet and dropped back down.
Max Minard was in his home with his mother when at about 10:30 Sunday night, winds exceeding roughly 50 miles per hour moved his house.
The way that it was rocking back and forth, I thought for a minute we would turn over.
Max and his mom are okay, but the trailer itself is heavily damaged.
As far as having anywhere else to go or anything, we don't right now.
Now, Steve, unfortunately, this is a sight across the region. If there is any silver lining to this, although people are shaken up, people are still here. There were no major injuries that we know of here in Perry County.
All right, we haven't heard of any serious injuries or deaths in most areas. Thank you very much, Connor. Gas stations saw a sudden rush this morning and afternoon. At one point today, there was only one gas station in Perry County with power, and this was the line as people waited at that station in Jeff. Many people told us they needed gas for their generators. Now, here's a look at the hardest hit areas without power. At one point today, nearly 70,000 people were left in the dark. About 1/3 of Kentucky's power's customers did not have power this morning. Some people are going to have to wait a little longer. Their crews tell us it could take days to return electricity to all homes and businesses. The extent of the damage is kind of rare here in eastern Kentucky. As the sun sets tonight, many of you will still have no power. Now, for a look at the impact on the power grid, we turn to WYMT's Madison Pergram.
The long night.
A night many did not expect as strong winds ripped through the region.
Of course, I heard the storm last night, but I didn't hear the crash or anything.
Astor Sizemore walked out of his home to see trees uprooted.
I couldn't believe it.
Others tangled in power lines.
All the power's off here, but we've been trying to get this tree out of the street so people could get by and get the tree off the power lines there. You could see in the background where the trees had actually knocked down the power lines.
Sizemore is just one of the tens of thousands left without power after the storm.
We have 500 employees and contractors out today working to assess and fix the damage.
Allison Barker with Kentucky Power says they understand the need to get power restored quickly.
And we've asked for additional help from outside of the state of Kentucky.
As people are at home because of the coronavirus, more people deal with the effects of the outage. But Sizemore has spent most of his time outside.
I haven't had a chance yet. I've been out here all morning. We've been doing this since about 9 o'clock.
Continuing to clean up what the storm left behind. In Perry County, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, a few different businesses were hit in Pikeville. Pikeville Dairy Cheer and Save-A-Lot both saw some exterior damage, but Dairy Cheer is still operating business as usual. Many others were left without power. With social distancing right now, many of you have headed out to fish recently. Those plans in Pike County, though, could be on hold. The strong winds left heavy damage to East Kentucky Marina. WIMT's Will Puckett talked to the owners of the marina who rushed home when it became too dangerous last night. He's live with a look at the damage. Will?
Steve, yeah, owner Teresa Thomas tells me that last night near 100-mile-per-hour winds rushed over the mountain, upturning their dock as they rushed to save as much as they could. She looks at it this morning and says they might be facing a price tag they don't know if they'll be able to overcome. As the wind rips across Fish Trap Lake, East Kentucky Marina owner Teresa Thomas is left looking at what remains.
Luckily, the marina took the blunt of the blow, I guess you could say. It wasn't the boat owners and stuff like that. And I mean, it's in pieces, it's in shambles, and we honestly don't know how we're gonna do this.
Emotion still raw as she thinks back to 10:30 Easter Sunday night when winds came through and created this mess that can be seen Monday.
And it was chaotic. Trees were flying everywhere. I've never, I mean, I lived on Lower Pompey all my life. I've never experienced anything like this.
And as summer is right around the corner, this blow is even greater.
Pretty big. Pretty big. So.
Than any other storm they've faced before. Steve, Thomas tells me that one portion of the dock costs more than $375,000. They have actually had to replace a portion of the dock in the past due to a previous windstorm, but we're not talking one portion of the dock now. We're talking 3, 4, or 5 portions. Steve, when I asked Thomas how much she thinks this might be, she didn't even want to venture a guess.
All right. Tough time for so many folks right now. Will, thank you. Many people in Knox County are still assessing storm damage from last night. Many home and business owners spent the day finding water and roof damage. Lillian June in downtown Barberville even had its roof nearly blown off. For now, the courthouse square is closed due to the debris from those storms.
We have lots of trees that are still compromised, I'm sure, and the wind, as you can see, is blowing. You know, they just need to stay in as much as they can, so stay as safe as possible.
Around 2 this afternoon, that roof at Lillian June was taken the rest of the way off to keep any more of it from falling. This is just a glimpse of the strength of those winds last night. Dean Walsh captured this photo. The winds put a tree limb right through the door of their archery team's storage building. And now a look over my shoulder. That's a view inside a Whitley County home. Now let's give you a better look at the damage. A tree fell onto the home, crashing through the roof. The homeowner says her mom was lying on the couch when the tree fell and covered her with ceiling debris. Thankfully, no one was hurt and everyone made it out unharmed. The homeowner says she is thankful to still have her family.
Everyone's fine. Everything's good. You know, we have smiles. We're happy we woke up this morning. We're not in the hospital. We're not sick. We're not injured. The good Lord watched over us and protected us from the worst that could happen, which is taking me or one of my children or my mother out. So we're in good nature over that.
The homeowner said an insurance adjuster came by this morning to look at the damage, and the family will stay in a hotel until their home can be repaired. WIMT's Dakota Makris will have more from that family tonight at 11. Knott County felt the effects of Sunday's high winds as well. WIMT's Willie Hope continues our damage coverage with a Knott County resident showing us the cleanup process.
Today is just trying to fix my driveway where I can get in and out of it. You really couldn't see anything. Along about 10 o'clock you could hear the wind blowing, and I've lived here 40 years and I never heard the wind that strong. It probably quit about 11:30, somewhere through there. And then I came out and then I found all these trees down, all the damage that it done. It'll probably take a month here working in the evenings on weekends and stuff, trying to get all the trees cut up, laid down, and everything cleaned up. That's what surprised me, was the length of time. You know, we need to try to respect the 6-foot distance and all we can, you know, but, you know, you got to be able to help your neighbors right now.
Another area affected by these storms, Floyd County. Officials blocked off Highway 122 from McDowell to Wheelwright. Multiple power lines, poles, and trees were scattered in the middle of the road. The road has since reopened, but officials say there's still no timeline on when water and power will be turned back on in that area. About 100 to 200 people are still without water and around 3,700 in that area without power.
Well, we are looking at a clean radar right now, and that'll continue as we head into tonight. But we do have a couple of flood warnings out, especially down into the Cumberland River, as a lot of that area is expected to get to minor flood stage. So the area in Pineville, the Cumberland River in Pineville right now is already at that minor flood stage, and Barberville and Williamsburg are expected to get in a minor flood stage through tomorrow morning. So we'll have to keep an eye on those areas throughout the night tonight. Temperatures right now getting a little bit chilly, mid to upper 40s. We're going to continue to watch those temperatures drop. Winds, though, still moving in from the northwest, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour, but that'll continue to die down tonight. And as we head into tomorrow, it could be tracking a little bit more rain and maybe even some snowflakes. I'll have those details coming up in a little bit.
All right. Thanks, Paige. The high